we've converted everything online, and we've brought a lot of people into kind of a technology era that they possibly never would have expected they would have been in. And as a result, we've managed to continue our speech and language therapy practices and uh, invested a lot of time in our Irish set dancing online. And it's really been a wonderful experience, despite COVID-19, which has been horrible for us all, of course. But we find now that we're spending a lot of time looking into our laptops or into our phones or into our computers and seeing all our friends and acquaintances that we've met over the last couple of years through set dancing and through speech and language therapy. And actually, it's working out pretty well. In fact, on the Irish set dancing side, we have more people with us now than we had when we were physically together in our dance hall in Bellarmine up in Stepaside in County Dublin. So it's actually it hasn't been the disaster we thought it would be. Of course, there's no substitute for physically being with the people you want to be with, but this is a great substitute. Zoom, Blue Jeans, Google Hangout, all these platforms that are video related and video interlinked, they're super platforms, they're super technology. And let's face it, people who are using them now are people who probably never would have thought they'd be using this kind of technology at all. They probably would have thought it was beyond them. But people, what I've discovered is when we were faced with change or do nothing, people really will change and really will invest in it, and they have, and it's been wonderful. It's been really great.
The speech and language therapy group, what happened there, Gary?
Yeah, that was the group that I was most worried about, because we've had like we've been meeting as a group. Can you hear me now? On a monthly basis for 3 or 4 years, and I know everybody in the group. There's about 22 of us in the group. Everybody in that group loves going to the Navan Road every second Thursday of every month and sitting down with Lorraine and Cueva, the two speech and language therapists who've been running it for the last couple of years, and just really having 2 hours of good practice, good storytelling, practicing our loud voices, practicing our ahs and oohs and all that kind of stuff, and making sure we're being heard. And it's a really good check-in point for everybody to make sure that we're all doing our practices when we should be, which is, not every day, but, I'm sure it'll be most days. But yeah, so when that disbanded, I mean, when we were told in March that this was our last one, we were kind of thinking, that's pretty sad, really. That's a pity, because I know for some people they really, really had invested a lot of their time into it. So it took a couple of months, but I kind of had a notion a few weeks ago that maybe we could just meet and do some practice, like without any speech and language therapist, because as it is, the HSE has been completely overrun with COVID-19 and all their resources that they need that's the priority, of course, and we all accept that. So I just kind of took it on myself to kind of set up a Zoom meeting, a recurring Zoom meeting every Thursday morning at 10 o'clock, where whoever was around out of our group of Can You Hear Me Now, just drop in and we'd practice a few of the exercises together, and it's working out well.
And Gary, that all sounds really, really positive. And I suppose in terms of the future, what do you think all this holds? I mean, for you as a person living with Parkinson's disease, and in terms of other Irish people living with Parkinson's.
Yeah, I mean, it's a time for reflection. It really has been, particularly through the actual lockdown period. I mean, it feels like we're in an almost free-for-all situation at the moment now, because people have gotten more freedoms than we've had for so long. But there's many things that are going through my mind, Mags, about this. I'm a kind of glass half full kind of person anyway, so I'm thinking, actually, with the greatest respect to people who have been seriously affected by COVID-19, from my perspective, yes, physically I'm not traveling around as much as I used to, but as I said already, we've moved so many things online. It's been great to be able to stay connected that way. And that kind of led on to another thought I had, that, there's a lot of people in the country who, regardless of COVID-19 or anything like that, who probably don't meet people that much one day of the week or another, because they're living on their own, or maybe an old couple living together. They kind of get up, get out, get to the shop, get the paper, maybe go to mass, and then get back home, and that's it. That's all they do any day, every day. And I thought, that's why we really need a good broadband service in the country, so that we can connect up with everybody. It's very easy to learn how to work Zoom. It's very easy to learn how to work Blue Jeans and all that. I know it's easy because we do it in our set dancing. and everybody has kind of cottoned onto it. And as I said, there's more people doing it now than we had when we were physically together. So I'm very positively disposed towards what's possible. Of course, I'm worried about, if there was a second wave of COVID-19. Please God, we have it under wraps, and we will maintain the social distances that we're supposed to do, and that will keep the pressure on the virus as opposed to the virus keeping the pressure on us. We can't relent on that. But assuming that we can continue to do that, I see a lot of possibilities for real progress for people who otherwise would be cut off. And I think I said in the video that we did back in January with Can You Hear Me Now? Like, one of my aspirations was to have a meeting group in every town and every health centre across the country. Now I think you can do it virtually. I mean, a lot of, like, I had my last consultation, for example, with the Neurological Institute. I had it on the phone, and actually it was a great one because I spoke to Richard for about 45-50 minutes. I wouldn't get that time physically turning up in the institute. So, and I live in Dublin. It's no bother for me to get into Eccles Street. I'm thinking of all the people who come up from Kerry and Cork. If they're not being seen in Cork, they travel all the way up to Dublin, spend 3 or 4 hours getting to Dublin, spend 2 or 3 hours waiting, get a 15-20 minute consultation from a registrar they haven't seen before, who hasn't seen them, and then they spend another 3 or 4 hours getting home. And what have you got? Just a bunch of tired people who are wondering, what am I doing? Making all that effort to get there. So this kind of technology is really, we should really take notice of it. It really can help, and it really can make a difference. So I'm going to keep pushing that now. That'll be my next, hobby horse, the next kind of button that I keep pressing. But I'm doing it because I really feel that it is making a wonderful difference to so many people. And we always have such a good laugh after we do our practices or after we do our dancing or whatever. There's always time at the end for the virtual cup of tea. And that's great. And that's when you know that people really appreciate the fact that they're still talking to the people that they want to talk to. It's great. It's wonderful.
That's a really positive message this afternoon, and thank you so much for sharing that with us. Gary, thank you so much. Always a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you.
Always a pleasure. Absolutely right. Thanks, Mags. Thanks very much. Take care.
Thank you.